She looked at me one last time, her eyes full of everything we'd done and everything we'd lost. That night she walked away, and no matter how much I wanted to stop her, I couldn't. What followed was a silence that still haunts me to this day. That night is etched into my memory like a scar I can't erase. It started off as ordinary, quiet, unremarkable, almost too normal. We had shared laughter earlier, the kind of laughter that feels dangerous because of the history behind it, because of a secret only we knew. But when the house grew silent and the world outside seemed far away, everything shifted. The air between us was heavy, thick with words neither of us could say out loud. She lingered longer than she should have, her hand brushing against mine, just a little too slowly. I felt my chest tighten. Part of me wanted to pull her close, to remind her of everything we had hidden in stolen glances and quiet moments. Another part of me knew this couldn't last, that what we were doing was already on the edge of collapsing. She looked at me then, really looked at me, and I saw the conflict written all over her face. It wasn't anger, it wasn't guilt, it was heartbreak. The kind of heartbreak that comes when you know the end has already arrived, even if you're not ready to face it. And that's when she whispered, "I can't keep doing this." Her words hung in the air like a blade. I can't keep doing this. They cut through me, sharper than anything I had ever felt. I tried to speak, but my throat tightened. Why now? I managed to whisper, my voice barely audible. After everything, why now? She shook her head slowly, her eyes glistening in the dim light. Because every time I leave this room, I feel like I'm carrying a lie on my back. And it's getting heavier. One day, someone will see it, and when they do, it'll destroy us both. I reached out, gently taking her hand, desperate to hold on to something slipping away. "We can handle it," I said. But even as the words left my lips, I didn't believe them. Her fingers lingered in mine for a moment before she pulled away. That single motion felt like my whole world unraveling. "I have to stop," she whispered, almost pleading with herself more than me. "If I don't, I'll lose everything. And you'll lose me too." The silence that followed was unbearable. I wanted to fight harder, to beg her to stay, but deep down I knew I was already losing her. The room felt colder, as if her decision had already stripped the warmth from the air. I stood there frozen, watching her pace back and forth, her hands trembling as she tried to steady her breath. "I never meant for it to go this far," she said, her voice breaking. I told myself it was just comfort, just a moment, but it wasn't. It became something I can't control anymore. Her words hit me like waves, each one stronger than the last. I wanted to tell her that I felt the same, that what we had wasn't just a mistake, it was real. It was raw. It was alive. But the fear in her eyes kept me silent. Finally, I forced myself to speak. "So that's it? You're just going to walk away? Pretend none of this ever happened?" She stopped pacing and turned to me, her face filled with both pain and determination. "I don't want to pretend. I'll never forget this. But if I don't walk away now, I'll ruin everything that matters. And maybe I've already ruined too much." The weight of her words pressed down on me, heavier than I could bear. I wanted to reach for her, to stop her, but my body refused to move. All I could do was watch as she took another step toward the door. She stood by the door, her hand resting on the knob as if it weighed 1,000 pounds. Her back was to me, but I could see the rise and fall of her shoulders, uneven with the weight of everything we had done. "Say something," I finally whispered, my voice breaking under the silence. "Don't just leave me with nothing." She turned slowly, her eyes wet with tears she didn't try to hide. "What do you want me to say?" she asked. "That I love you? That I wish things were different? You already know all of that. But none of it changes the truth. The truth." That word echoed in my head, louder than her voice. The truth was that we had crossed a line we could never uncross. The truth was that she had a life outside these walls, a life I could never be part of. She stepped closer, and for a moment, I thought she'd come back to me. Instead, she cupped my face in her hands and pressed one last trembling kiss against my lips. It wasn't passion this time, it was goodbye. When she pulled back, her whisper was final. "Please don't follow me." And with that, she turned, opened the door, and walked away. The sound of the door closing behind her felt louder than any slam. It echoed in my chest, a final note that signaled the end of something I wasn't ready to lose. I stood frozen, staring at the empty space where she had just been. Her scent still lingered in the air, her warmth still clung to my skin, and yet she was gone. I sank onto the bed, my hands buried in my hair, replaying every moment in my head. The stolen touches, the whispers, the nights filled with both guilt and desire, it all came rushing back, crashing over me like a wave I couldn't escape. For the first time, the silence felt unbearable. There was no laughter, no secret glances, no whispered promises. Just emptiness. And the worst part was knowing that she was right. Walking away was the only choice she had left. But knowing that didn't make it hurt any less. As the hours crawled by, I kept expecting her to return, to open the door, to take it all back. But she didn't. And deep down, I knew she never would. That night wasn't just about her walking away. It was about me realizing that sometimes the person you want the most is the one you're never meant to keep. The days that followed blurred together, but the memory of that night stayed sharp, cutting into me each time I closed my eyes. I replayed the way she looked at me before leaving, the way her voice cracked when she said goodbye. Those final words, those last moments, they haunted me. I tried to convince myself that it was for the best, that maybe walking away was the only way to save us from total destruction. But deep down, I knew the truth. We had already destroyed something, the trust, the innocence, the boundaries that once kept us safe. I never saw her the same way again, and I never saw myself the same way either. That night left a scar, a reminder that some choices can't be undone, no matter how much you wish they could. And even now, when the house is quiet and the silence presses down on me, I still hear her voice, soft, trembling but certain. Please don't follow me. That was the night she walked away. And though I couldn't stop her, I also couldn't stop loving her.